shocked by this. I am also not at all prepared to start a live, which is naturally why I started a live, because, well, I've been told by a few of you that my chaotic energy of being an ADHD podcaster is part of my allure. allure. Allure? Allure? There's no way to say that doesn't sound wrong. Alright. Ooh, I do have a water bottle here. Huzzah! Ooh, I'm stepping on papers. Huzzah! Alright, anyway. Oh, haha! There's somebody here. Hello! This is fun. Also, I want to make it very clear, I did not buy a douchey desert camo I used to be in the army Hua water bottle. My husband won 2 of them. They're Yetis, so they're nice. I've never bought a Yeti because, well, spending that much money on a water bottle seems insane. But says the person who owns like 3 Stanleys. Technically, 2 of those were gifts, so oh, I owned 3 Stanleys. The one I bought is now missing, but I do have 2 that I received as gifts. Whew. Okay, the rambling is already starting hard. Anyway, my husband won 2 Yetis at a Ducks Unlimited banquet, which suddenly makes it sound just as redneck as it would have if I had bought it myself. Not that I have anything against rednecks or desert camouflage. I just, in general, don't buy camouflage thing. Jesus. Okay, we're... Echo, play.
Resuming Spotify.
Let me know if it's loud enough. If it's not, I can turn it up.
Have you ever wished that your world had more magic?
Or your favorite character had survived?
How about a full-length spin-off of your favorite childhood series? Then we have a podcast.
God, when did we get rid of this? It's so painful.
Sorry guys, that was our first standard test. That's impressive. Okay, continue.
Wait, what? No.
Hello everyone, I'm Kat.
And I'm Claire.
And this is Fire, Whiskey, and Honey, the podcast about...
Wait, did we listen to this one last time?
Potter fan fiction.
Debt of Time.
Each episode, we read...
No, Chipper's ever. We've already listened to this one. Fuck. God damn it. So listen with headphones, or don't.
We won't judge.
Without further ado, here's this week's chapter of
The Debt of Time.
Okay. I think we ended with Maya last time, so. Some welcome home party. So, oops. I said we were listening to 3. We've already listened to 3. We're listening to 4.
Have you ever wished that your world had
Fix
more
that on the
magic?
Facebook real
or
quick.
that your favorite character had survived.
How about a full-length spin-off of your favorite childhood series?
Then do we have a podcast for you?
We have a podcast for you.
Oh, thank God we didn't do that again.
And
Oh, there's 3 of you. Hello, 3 of you. I don't know if any of you have texted anything. I can never remember how to check the texties on here. All messages are visible. There we go. Oh my God. Carly, that's amazing.
Without further ado, here's a recap of last week's chapter of
The Debt of Time. Let's get some water in there. That water's gross. Ooh.
Alright, so last week you read chapter 3 of The Dead of Time. Kat, would you like to give your recap?
Before she had the notebook.
No, because I kind of dealt with them.
And that is fine, because it's actually been way longer than a week than we've actually recorded. However, for those of you listening on this beautiful Firewhisky Friday, it will feel like a week for you.
Mm.
That's kind of stoppy-goey, sorry guys.
Stoppy-goey.
Yesterday. But,
I like how I'm apologizing like I knew what the heck I was doing. We've been podcasting for a grand total of like, this was episode 4, technically I guess 5.
do you remember from
But,
the last
yeah.
episodes of Dead of Time?
Let's see.
Well, I remember that Hermione
Aw.
wanted to the dish.
I'm glad I'm doing these live streams too, Ashley.
She brought that.
Also, can you guys hear it? Let me know in the comments if it's loud enough, if I need to turn it up.
PTSD for mixing up Remus and Lupin. make it very clear that we've gotten feedback from fans that me screaming at you about Remus being Lupin was the highlight of our T-shirt. So congratulations.
It was, and it ended up becoming a shirt.
So
So
much. But I remember that, and then I remember. Yeah, that's all I remember.
Okay.
that's all I remember.
Sirius Black is
Sweet
back.
girl.
Sirius.
It's back in black.
Ayo.
I almost made that joke just now. Oh God.
So Sirius wakes up on Remus's couch. He says Maya. Remus is like, no, this is Hermione. And Ron has told Mrs. Weasley about the Horcrux hunt. And Harry is still at the Dursleys, and they are planning to go fetch him soon. So you remember that part from the movies, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. God, she remembered. She really did start to take it more seriously once she and the Dark Wizard got back together.
So somebody brought up a fanon moment from that. So something that like the fans acknowledge as canon that never actually happened. Apparently this was not in the books. There was a scene in the movie where they filmed this, but it didn't make the final cut. And it's when Petunia is leaving, because she, the Dursleys all moved away, so that, Voldemort decides to blow up Privet Drive. They're not there for it. But as Petunia is leaving, she like turns it to Harry and says, "Don't just forget, you didn't just lose your mother that night. I lost my sister." And it was supposed to be like almost like a pity moment for Petunia, which I'm sorry, you were a monster to a child. Like, at what age did they start putting him in the cupboard? When he was 2, he was 3, he was 4? At what point did you take him out of the crib and put him under the stairs? You piece of shit.
I still have strong feelings about that, especially now that I have my own baby.
Awful. But
Awful, awful woman.
that is neither here nor there. So, Harry is still at River Drive, and the plan is to go there. Or, wait, no. I lied. I'm skipping ahead because I started reading another chapter. They're not preparing to go there. No, they are. They are.
Jesus. I also did not prepare for these episodes well. God
Sorry.
bless.
I only had one cup of coffee today. But
Yeah, I love how I said I only had one cup of coffee today. Like I wasn't recording all of these at like 8 o'clock at night.
I wrote down the recap in my episode notes, which I am now writing down. And I actually have a recap here. And it says Sirius is back. He keeps asking Remus about Maya. And Remus keeps saying Hermione, and then fills him in on the whole
I was not subtle and she still didn't pick up. Like she never questioned the whole Maya thing. Not once. She just kind of like took it in stride and was like, yeah, no, this is something from the movies that I clearly just forgot and I don't want to admit that I forgot.
Without further ado, here is this week's chapter of The Dead of Time. Chapter 4, Some Welcome Home Party. July 23rd, 1997. In the late afternoon, the members of the Order of the Phoenix gathered in the Weasleys' living room. As each wizard or witch stepped to the fireplace, another member was there to quiz them using a previously established security question. Considering that the entire Order would be engaged in a mission involving Polyjuice Potion in just a few days, they, more than anyone else, appreciated how tight security needed to be. Mrs. Weasley had created a feast as usual, though instead of waiting to sit down to eat at the end of the meeting like they often did, most people gravitated to and from the table of food, snacking as they moved about the room, engaging one another in conversation. Everyone.
It's a joke I would have made these days if we'd done this, but
Green flames lit up the living room once more, and they all turned to the fireplace as Tonks stepped through with a look of excitement on her face. Before anyone had a chance to say anything, Alistair Moody approached, one pointed directly at her. Your first day as an official order, you stepped into my office and tripped. What item of mine did you break? Tonks snickered, daring to look proud. 2 sneakoscopes, a brand new faux glass, and a secrecy sensor. And you still owe me a new maybe one of each, Moody grumbled.
This
Where's
was
your husband?
where I really
What's
owned
this meeting all
the
about?
voices. I didn't realize Moody was the
Next
first
occasion,
one
stop worrying
that
so
I like
much. She smiled and directed
stepped
away
up and
from
like
Hermione.
owned.
Felt as if she were about to vomit. Calm down, love, Tonks whispered as she moved to Hermione's side. Everything's going to be fine. Everything and everyone, she added, is fine.
Quotation.
Good. They are? Hermione asked, almost choking on the words. She clenched her hands together, lacing her fingers to stop twitching. Nothing's wrong. Tonks chuckled softly.
No.
Someone might need
Okay,
a bit of
that's
an
fine.
ear bashing, but that's normal, isn't it? The fireplace lit with another burst of green flames, and Remus stepped into the room, immediately seeking out Tonks and Hermione. His reassuring smile left Hermione feeling as though she had not only his approval of what she had done, but also his support in the meeting.
I just realized his approval sounds like disapproval.
Bill Weasley stepped forward. If that really is you, he eyed the man with a smirk on his face, feigning suspicion. Between the two men, he would likely be able to smell the lycanthropy in one another.
Lycanthropy, not lycanthropy. Good God, Claire, what were you
Facing
thinking?
an anxious crowd, however, Bill asked, when I woke up in the hospital room last month, what's the first thing you said to me? I told you that I hoped you liked your steaks rare. Remus grinned and clapped Bill on the shoulder. Speaking of which, are you doing all right? Bill shrugged, brushing off the concern, even as Mrs. Weasley huffed over the reminder of the attack on her oldest son. Better than you, I'd imagine. I got a little anxious a few nights ago, full moon and all. There was nothing I couldn't handle. Now that the pups are all reacquainted, Moody interrupted with a scowl, anyone going to tell me what the bloody hell was so important we needed to risk another meeting so close to retrieving Potter? Hermione's breathing and heart rate increased as she began to shuffle restlessly. When she felt a comforting hand on her shoulder, she assumed that Remus's enhanced senses
Fight
picked
me.
up on the change, or she was being profoundly obvious. We're not all here, actually, Remus said. Now, before I call our last member, I need everyone to keep an open mind and remain calm. You can ask all the security questions you need, but keep your wands where they are. Right?
Yeah.
You've already spoken to Tonks and myself, so you know we are who we say we are. I'm asking you to trust us now. Most of the order nodded anxiously, while a few, most notably Moody, looked
Shocker.
angry that details were clearly left out of whatever it was that was happening.
It's funny, I feel like I should have more commentary, but I'm just enjoying listening to the story, even though it's weird hearing it in my own voice.
Remus approached the fireplace, tossed in flea powder, and shouted, "The den!" before sticking his head into the green flames. "Come on through," he called loudly, before stepping back to make room. The green flames burned higher and brighter. When they finally died down, every wand in the room was drawn as the shocked order members stared defensively into the gray eyes of Sirius Black.
Dun, dun, dun.
Some welcome home party this is. Sirius looked pointedly at all the drawn wands. Surely only one or two wands are necessary. What'll happen if everyone shoots off a corpse at once? The whole bloody house will cave in.
Yeah, well.
Catching sight of Mrs. Weasley, Sirius flashed his well-remembered smile. "Molly, you're looking well." Her jaw had dropped inside of him. She clutched at her husband.
Oh God, this part took me multiple takes.
"You're looking alive."
Okay. That's a good voice. This is not a howler, Claire. Calm down.
It said that she shrieked. I was shrieking.
Apparently you were. You shriek your shack.
Yep.
I know.
Doesn't even make sense. You shriek your shack.
Sorry, I peel my labels off my ball.
I peel my labels off my ball. She really did say that quite a lot.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh wait, no. This may have been the first time she mentioned it.
As ever, serious.
sexually frustrated. To which I say, what?
That's what I'm told. That's what people tell me.
What?
That's what people tell
Well,
me.
it's an urban dictionary.
It's an urban dictionary.
Sorry, it was an urban dictionary. That makes it legit.
And handsome as ever.
Snort.
Snort gets me.
That's what this is.
Oh, and handsome as ever, Sirius said with a grin, dusting off his robes. All right, Remus said you lot use security questions now, yeah? Well, let's get this over with. It's been a long time since I've had some good home cooking, and I can smell the treacle tart from here.
Treacle tart. That sounds good.
Why does that sound? It's a no, because it's a tart.
No, the word treacle doesn't really sound good.
The fact that she thought treacle sounded dirty will.
You can watch more British baking show. Treacle is so not sexy.
I can't watch the British baking show anymore because ever since they took away what's her face and what's her face, it's bored.
What's her face and what's her face? You can tell how much she liked Melon Sue. I think eventually she did like Noel, but it really has never been the same without Melon Sue.
Mr. Weasley gaped at him. How are you alive? That, Sirius said, pointing at the man, is a terrible security question, Arthur. Try again.
Sorry, I'm grinding my teeth and trying not to do it next to the camera.
What song would we stop singing when we were all spending Christmas together at Grimmauld Place? Mr. Weasley blurted
God
out.
rest ye merry hippogriffs.
God rest ye merry hippogriffs. Sirius answered blithely. I don't think that was supposed to be sung, but I felt like that needed to be sung.
She was easily amused.
Good attempt though. Appreciate the effort.
She was very supportive, even though I was bad at so many things.
He peered at the man warily, and Mr. Weasley laughed in response, still in shock. Sirius predictably turned toward Moody, who was fuming with suspicion. Next. Moody narrowed his one good eye at Sirius, while the other spun in its mechanical socket and was facing backwards, as though he were waiting for another recently not dead person to come up from behind. He slowly and deliberately asked, when we escorted Harry Potter to King's Cross, what were his last words to you before we left you behind at Grimmauld Place?
What is with you and these voices? You sound like a pirate.
That's honestly what I heard. I thought that to myself when I first said it. I'm like, that's not like a fucking pirate, but whatever. Moody has a weird, moody voice. I kind of feel like Moody. Wow.
He's not a pirate. He can walk with a limp in the movie, but he doesn't
He's
have
got
a
a
peg
peg
leg.
leg.
Like, just because your husband calls you Mad Eye Moody does not mean that's
Rude.
right.
Hurtful.
It's funny. But it's funny.
He doesn't call me that anymore, which is nice, but
Anyway. Trick question. I came with you, and you were really bent out of shape about it. Sirius smiled smugly, rocking back and forth on the heels of his black pointed-toe boots. For no good reason, might I add. I played obedient lapdog quite well. Several members in the room chuckled at the joke. Fine, fine, Moody growled, looking Sirius over intently. Though he refrained from casting hexes, his wand was still in hand, moving over Sirius like a muggle metal detector, presumably searching for dark magic. Now answers Arthur's first question. How the hell are you alive, Black? Magic, Sirius offered with a wink. Sirius, you're pushing it, Remus cautioned his friend. Well, what the hell am I supposed to say? I woke up on your bloody sofa, not knowing where the hell I was her why your new wife wouldn't give me a proper drink. Sirius's focus moved to his cousin, but his stare was quickly transferred to Hermione, who was still unconsciously clinging to Tonks's robes. The charming smile he gave her made her feel as though the entire room suddenly revolved around her. Her cheeks warmed over, and they must have turned pink because his smile turned into an amused grin. You mean you don't know how or why you're alive? Oh, wait, sorry. That was mistakes. You mean you don't know how or why you're alive? Mrs. Weasley stepped forward, blocking Sirius's line of sight. Were you even really dead? Where have you been? That was direct imitation. Terrible.
I know, I love that part.
Where have you been? Yes, really dead. Don't know where I was. Sirius leaned in to give Mrs. Weasley a quick
Oh,
kiss.
I get it now. It's like the Princess Bride. He was mostly dead. Sorry. Covered it.
I was having flashbacks to Monty Python and Holy Grail.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not dead yet. Quit telling people I'm dead. Sometimes I start hearing my voice. That's actually different. But yeah, sorry. Yes, really dead. Don't know where I was. Sirius leaned in to give Mrs. Weasley a quick kiss on the cheek. You're as temperamental as ever, Molly. Lovely to see you. Sirius Black, she hissed through clenched teeth. You cannot just flew into my house after being dead for over a year and expect to go on like nothing happened. This is serious, she shouted.
Yes, I am.
Sorry. Wasn't expecting you to do that. Okay. This is serious, she shouted, and then pointed a finger in his face as she caught him about to speak. Don't you dare say it! Sirius smirked, bouncing on the balls of his feet, clearly having far too much fun wrecking havoc on Mrs. Weasley's nerves. Moody broke the tension by loudly clearing his throat, causing a few members to
Sorry,
raise
I
their
just-
wands in response. How do we know
The amount of times it occurs to me that I should text her and then...
Sirius scoffed.
What point does it feel real?
Sake. It's not his fault. Hermione broke in, and everyone's attention fell on her as she dashed to Sirius's side, her hands shaking as she twisted them together. I did it. I found a way to bring him back. And I'm forever grateful, kid. Ignoring the shocked expressions and whispers, Sirius leant forward to place a kiss on her temple, moving the warmth in her cheeks down her neck. I just want to comment on one thing before we go too much further. Keep in mind that Harry's parents got married fairly quickly out of Hogwarts. They had Harry fairly young, and they died at like 20 or 21, which means, and Harry was a year old when they died. So the age difference between the Marauder generation and the Golden Trio generation.
Me trying to defend.
That's a 20-year age difference. The Marauders started Hogwarts in 1971. The Golden Trio started in 1991. There is a 20-year age difference. This part did kind of skeeve me out a little bit when I first read it, just because I was like, it's weird that 18-year-old Hermione is getting hot and heavy from...
Hot and heavy, yeah. Okay. A hug and a kiss on the cheek. What the hell, Claire?
Yeah, well, that one fan fiction you made me listen to and that happened, it was creeping me out too. But then I was like, it happens, and honestly, if I was in that situation and that was Alan Rickman in that wig, I would be like, whatever.
Are you talking about the first season of Fangasm?
Yeah, like that was really
Which is funny because that's such a bad, like, it's not bad fan fiction, but it was rough. Cringy, I think.
Actors in wigs, because Alan Rickman's not in a wig in himself. Like, he's a good looking dude, but that's serious for some reason. That's just like,
Alan Rickman isn't serious.
oh, I thought we were talking about
Alan Rickman
Is Snape.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about Snape for a second. Wasn't that the one? It's like,
Yep, that was the first episode. first season. Anyway, yes, free promo for Fancast if y'all haven't listened to it. Hilarious. But no, Gary Oldman was serious. And the thing is, like, I like Gary Oldman. He was a very good serious. He's not who I picture.
He was too
Because
goddamn
Sirius was
old.
supposed to be super duper hot. And like Gary Oldman is not a bad looking guy. Gary Oldman is not the guy who I want to see shirtless on a motorcycle wearing nothing but leather pants.
Well, no one wanted to see Seth Rogen shirtless on a motorcycle, but there you go.
Yeah, but he also wasn't playing a guy who was listening to her.
Yeah, but I haven't read the book. What the heck do I know?
So one of the fan things is that
I wonder if she ever, I don't know if she ever finished the Harry Potter audiobooks.
like, okay, say the Marauders are playing Truth or Dare, and they're all sitting in a circle. And again, we've discussed Wolfstar. We know that people in their heads put Lupin and Sirius together. But they're playing Truth or Dare, and it lands on Sirius, and James goes, Sirius, I dare you to kiss the most attractive person in this room. And Sirius looks at Lupin and goes, Lupin? And Lupin goes, yes? And Sirius goes, how the hell am I supposed to kiss myself? And it's just one of those, again, it's fanon, but the idea that Sirius Black was super self-involved and thought he was super hot. But, so I do have a fan cast for him. I do not know the guy's name, but I will send it to you and I will post it on Patreon or whatever. And everyone, I hope, will agree that he would have been he is the Sirius that I picture for this. Again, older, but very debonair and very, very
Was it Ben Barnes? I feel like it was probably Ben Barnes.
No, I don't know where my mind has been really because I literally forgot the password to get into my school for like 3 days. So I don't know what I'm doing.
And coming in on a left field.
Like I really have no idea where my mind is at.
Is that why you thought that Alan Rickman played Snape or Sirius?
No, because I was segueing and I didn't realize that you didn't understand where I was going.
I was segueing.
Remember, I'm so lost.
Get a coffin!
Right.
Life is hard, get a coffin.
Yes.
Where am I?
Hermione.
God, I don't know how you guys listened to this at the beginning. The amount of things that are like, oh, we're going to cut this later, and then we didn't.
Hermione smiled nervously at him.
And this was after we had an editor. I think this was the first episode we had an editor for Annabeth.
Save her friend George, who were quietly
Bless her heart. And I mean that in the nice way, not in the southern way.
Moody quickly stepped forward, pointing an accusing finger in Hermione's
Ah,
direction.
biscuits. One green.
Before he got too close, both Remus and Sirius barred his way. Low growl was emitting from their throats. Why are
Ew.
they growling?
It's hot.
Say how and why.
Why are they growling?
What is Lupin?
He's a werewolf.
What is Sirius?
A werewolf.
God, you're fired. That is
Not I am not. The
Third
people
sword.
love me.
The people love me. And it's funny because, like, she said that, but I don't think anybody realized how loved she was going to be.
Feels like
Like, I don't know how to say this. Like, I always kind of expected that, like, I've been so protective of her just because she was very much a unique individual. And I think part of it was just, you know, stuff from the Fragile X or whatever. But, like, she had very little filter. Her social awareness was trash. But I was so worried that you guys weren't going to vibe with her. And I was very ready to, like, "Urgh!" And then everybody really liked her. So that was a relief. And then she actually, I think, started getting, like, more fans than I did. And I got a little salty about it. So I was like, no, I'm the star. But And I'm
Sirius
glad she
Black is dog black. He's a black dog. He's the grin.
dog black.
We have found signs of intelligent life, folks.
Oh, that was mean.
Toy Story me. Hey.
Don't Toy Story me.
Leave me alone. Hey, we talk HR, I got you. Talking to Harry Potter, I stupid.
Alright, so Remus and Sirius are barring Ruby's way of getting to Hermione and Brown. Hermione took a short breath, and as the two marauders faced off against the angry Auror, she peeked around Remus to gauge everyone's reaction. Kingsley looked relieved, but curious. Mr. and Miss, why are you breathing so loud? We talked about this.
She's sitting there like. I don't know if you guys could actually hear it well on the episode, but it was. I think Annabeth cut it back a bit. It was obnoxious.
The Word of the Phoenix, he's the one who wears the super African garb, and when Dumbledore does the thing where he leaves and like claps his hands.
You got to admit, Dumbledore got style.
Tried to arrest him during movie book 5. Kingsley's the one that turned around and was like, got to admit, Dumbledore's got style.
Okay. Yes, I remember.
So Kingsley looked relieved, but curious. Mr. and Mrs. Weasley were obviously on edge, though it was likely regarding the potential fight rather than Sirius's appearance. The Weasley brothers, save for Ron, looked ready to jump in, all led by Bill, who was attentively watching Remus's movements as though waiting for some silent command. Ron was the only one who still
Werewolf?
stared open-mouthed at
Werewolf.
Sirius.
Sorry.
It
Young
doesn't matter
Frankenstein.
how it was done. It was done, Hermione said. I found the spell while researching the mission Dumbledore gave Harry, Ron, and me. In Dumbledore's own books, she clarified, as though that let the Order members know that she had not used dark magic, which technically she had.
Technically.
Was dark magic, though it was
No,
not
biscuits.
all exactly
No!
right.
I'll blend it out.
She was keeping as quiet as possible about the details of one of it. I was there when she did it. I saw and heard the spell, saw his body come out of the veil, watched him wake up, Remus explained, looking down at me. Sirius is alive again. Hermione brought him back. And back off from the both of them. The timbre of his voice should have been frightening, but Hermione found herself stepping closer to him without thinking. I don't like this. Grumbled. Noted, Sirius replied. So, if we're all done measuring our wands, insert wand joke here.
Getting frustrated.
Your thumb and your
12 3/4 inches. Oh, good. Dragging the heartstring further.
the one chooses the witch.
Ew.
Okay.
Serious.
There's a lot of dick jokes in the early days. I not remembered.
I'm starved, Molly. Sirius turned his attention to Mrs. Weasley. Not to be in a position, but I'd love some dinner. I haven't eaten a proper meal in over a year. Tonks and Remus barely know how to brew a cup of tea. I'm amazed they're surviving together without anyone to feed them. He stepped behind Remus, who was still guarding Hermione. His gaze fell on her, and he reached a tender hand out to her, fishing a brown curl behind her ear. She smiled, feeling grateful, more than anything, that he had recovered so well in such a short time. One by one, the Order members moved from the living room, following behind Sirius as he heaped food onto a large plate, leaving only
Nice.
Remus, Ron, and Hermione in the living room. Remus still stood in front of her, as though the old aura would pose a serious threat. Hermione reached out to place her hand softly on his arm, feeling him tense under her touch. Remus, she whispered, noticing that he relaxed at the sound of her voice. Remus, it's okay. I knew this would happen. I knew there would be questions. Moody grunted, and she turned to him. Questions I still won't be answering. Moody glared for a
She's
few minutes
sassy.
before giving her a curt nod and leaving. Remus turned to watch him exit before bringing his attention back to Hermione. get you to stay here when the rest of us go fetch Harry? He asked, his green eyes glimmering flecks of gold in the light.
No, bitch. Okay.
Remember what the gold eyes mean?
How would I remember? That wasn't explained.
I don't know. Alright, so Remus naturally has green eyes. However, the way it works in the Witchman world, they assume the wolf is almost a separate entity within you, sort of like second personality. And so you can tell who is dominant based on the color of his eyes. When he has green eyes, Remus the man is in charge. When he has golder eyes, or you see the flashes of gold, that's Mooney the wolf coming to the forefront.
God.
So him with his green eyes flashing gold is him trying to order her to stay when they go get Harry. Hermione shook her head. I'm going. Remus's nose twitched in silent front at her words, but he dipped his head, patted her shoulder lightly. Very well. I suppose I'll have to make sure Molly can keep Sirius here on her own then. We won't be able to keep Harry safe. He knows that Sirius is alive. He'll have to be told once he gets here. Hermione agreed. Ginny will help. Go and get some food. And keep an eye on him, she said with a soft chuckle, looking through an open doorway and watching the Sirius maneuver around the table. He had a plate balanced in one hand as he shoved a chicken leg in his mouth with the other.
Sounds like me.
That sounds like Ron, but oh my god, you and freaking turkey legs.
He had so many pictures of her with turkey legs at Harry Potter World. I think we had them. Oh, I literally told the story in the pod. The amount of time she and I went to Harry Potter World was actually insane. And it's funny, I don't know how to explain to people nowadays that, like, I'm not a Harry Potter fan because of Joe. And, like, that finally, as an adult, sort of moved on just because, you know, Joe Rowling's a horrible person. I don't want to give her any money. Like, if James wants to read the book someday, I won't keep him from doing that. But it's not like I'll be sitting here, you know, waiting to indoctrinate him the way I expected to. Damn you, Joe.
I am on your side, he insisted, as he quickly approached her. But I didn't know you knew how to bring people back from the bloody grave. Language, she scolded him. And keep your voice down, Ron. For your information, I don't know how to bring back just anyone. I can't reverse a killing curse. That's why I found the spell. Harry wanted me to look for a way to bring back Dumbledore. I knew it was pointless, but I wanted to maybe find a way to protect us when we go off on this mission. I stumbled onto the spell, made a connection, and asked Remus and Tonks to go with me to the ministry, because Tonks is an Auror and could get me in. Ron exhaled and ran a hand through his hair, still shocked by what Hermione had done. Bloody hell! She smacked his arm. Language. I like how she does the language things. Reminds me of their Catholic parents.
I was literally just about to make that comment. My God, nothing about. Not only have I never had a unique thought in my life, I myself, listening to myself in the past, it's like my brain has not changed.
Ignoring his soul, he laughed. Can you imagine the look on Harry's face when he sees him? That's almost all I've been thinking about.
I didn't realize how many, like, quotation styles I pulled directly from the movies, though.
The happy feeling, however, was quickly replaced by a flood of apprehension, and she felt her eyes prick with the rise of emotion. If we have to go on this hunt, this is it. This is the end. I can feel it. I needed to give this to Harry. He needs us. He has us, but she wiped the tears that fell down her cheek. Harry needs his family. He needs to have something of his own to fight for. So what do you think so far?
I don't want to say I am confused, but I just don't understand.
She's
why
confused.
Everybody seems to be like all, I don't want to say getting mad, but all like, Jesus Christ, Hermione, why'd you have to bring him back? Like, that's kind of like what I'm getting here. They're all like not happy about it. They're just like, God, you could have just like left it alone.
I don't get that vibe. It's not like a why would you do that? You shouldn't have bothered. It's more of a holy shit, he was dead and now he is not.
Yeah, I kind of don't really see it that way for some reason, but it's like you had one job. Like, dude,
All you gotta do is get the Horcruxes and you on this overachiever decided that bring somebody back from the dead. Go do so. July 27th.
Max, you good?
Sit.
Echo volume up.
Stay. Ginny was Weasley order.
Echo volume up.
A devious grin on her face. Real quick, I know we just dipped back into this, but book Ginny, way better than movie Ginny. Book Ginny, sassy, many layers, super cool character, very dynamic. Movie Ginny, cardboard. Cardboard. She just, not a lot of emotion. Like, Ginny was supposed to be like sassy and flirty and have an attitude. I mean, she's got what, 6 older brothers? You don't survive 6 big brothers without having a huge ass personality to show that you can hold your own against all the boys. And I just feel like in the movie she was just kind of bleh.
yeah. I mean, since I didn't read the book, what do I know? But
Okay, does she seem like a standout character in the movies, or is she just sort of like quiet and backgroundy?
well, I think she, in the beginning, when they're younger, is quiet and backgroundy, and I feel like towards when they get older, she kind of comes into her own. But I also kind of feel like in the movies they don't really like give her a chance. They're mainly focusing on the 3 of them. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, like, Bonnie Wright, the girl who played her, I think she's like, I haven't seen her in anything else, so I don't know what kind of actress she is, but I've seen follow her on Instagram. She seems like a super dynamic person. It's just, I don't think she was given great material. But anyway, you get to see a little bit more of sassy Jenny in this series, which is nice. So
Yeah, and it's like I've also learned from Potterless that apparently Harry has a sassy moment in the books, and you don't really get that in the movie.
oh my god, he has so many sassy moments in the books. Like when he's talking to Snape and just says something and he doesn't finish it with sir, and Snape goes, sir, and Harry goes, you don't have to call me sir, professor. And like I had to put the book down.
It was one of those
just like laugh and clap
moments.
and applaud, and it was amazing because Harry's super effing sassy.
Yeah, because I feel like you don't really get it in the movie until the 5th one when he takes the liquid walk, and he's like, by all means, sir, come on. Like,
Okay, that's movie, that's movie 6, not 5.
I thought that was 5.
No, that's Half-Blood Prince. Because 5, that one ends with, because he's trying, when he's doing the whole come along, sir, he's trying to get the memory from Slughorn about the Horcrux. And that's 6.
Dang it! I hate Google. Not your mom, but I hate the system.
As an explanation, my mother's nickname is Google because she used to be a reference librarian, and she is the human equivalent of Google. But
Actually, did I ever explain that in the show?
this is the one.
Echo, pause. So, when my niece was born, Jesus Christ, she's gonna be 14 this year. I am unwell. But anyway, when she was an infant, my mom really wanted to be called Grammy because her favorite grandmother was Grammy, and so she was really attached to me. So we were like, all right, come on, Mags, can you say Grammy? Grammy? Nothing, not a fucking word, just blinking. And then we were watching Jeopardy one day, and it was something like, what's the longest river in Saskatchewan or something? And I'm like, I don't even know where the fuck Saskatchewan is. And my mom goes, oh, that's easy. It's blah, 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 blah. And we just looked at her like, what the fuck? She was like, well, back in the day when, we didn't have access to the internet, people needed to know stuff, they called the reference librarians. And so everything that needs to be known, I would know because I answered the phone and answered people's questions. And I said, oh, so you're basically Google. And my niece looks at her and goes, Google? And yeah. Yes, the niece that acted way older and liked a lot of fancy food. Okay, also, I'm just getting these text messages. All right, watercolor. If you notice, every petal I paint is not touching. You gotta let this shit dry. That is number one. And number two, don't spend money on brushes. Don't spend money on paint. Spend money on high quality watercolor paper. Yeah, I know. She's that old. She's gonna be fucking 14. Okay, you'll appreciate this though. So my sister is going through the divorce from hell. Don't even get me started. I swear to God, the body snatchers got my brother-in-law. I am furious at the whole thing. But he, during this process, basically cut off Maggie, which broke my heart because Maggie, obviously she loves her dad, and her dad was a good dude. He and my sister just weren't a good fit. They, got engaged during a very emotional time, and it was one of those, like, I think if things had been calmer, they maybe would have realized they weren't a good fit. But I'm glad they got together because I got Maggie, and she's great. So, anyway, this whole divorce thing has been a nightmare. My sister and Maggie had to kind of live with my aunt for a while, and then they got an apartment and all this other kind of shit. And my former brother-in-law was just being an asshole. And Maggie is very much not impressed with how he's been handling this whole situation. So, on her birthday, he sends her a text message. And I don't even think he wrote anything. I think it was just a picture of him and her at the first birthday he spent with her. So she would have been like 3. And don't mind me, I'm just scrubbing some of this paint up because I don't like how dark it is. Also, watercolor is so cool. I love that I can do this. I don't like that. I'm gonna, scrub paint off my paper. But anyway, so he sent her this text message, and then like it just had like a little happy heart face. Maggie, and keeping in mind this is her turning 13. She doesn't even text him words. She also sends him a picture. It is a screenshot of the definition of audacity. I screamed with laughter because I was like, she's 13, like, has been 13 for hours, not even days, hours. I was like, that is the most savage, like, I, as a 34-year-old adult, dream of having comebacks that fucking good. Holy shit. No, just phenomenal. Like, so proud. I hate that she had to be in a position to do that, but at the same time, it's like, fuck yeah, that's my blood. So, and Kat was alive to know about that, which makes me glad because that's just such an incredible. She was so proud. I was so proud. Like, again, I hate that this is a situation that she's having to deal with at this age, and the fact that now her mom has been divorced twice, and I feel like that's bad news bears for her when she gets older, just because I really don't want that to taint love and marriage for her, but who knows? But anyway, just the fact that as a 13-year-old, she was that fucking bright and that spunky. Goddamn. So proud. Anyway, with that, Echo, play.
Resuming Spotify.
God, that was loud.
We digress. Who wants to hear about our problems?
Who wants to hear about our problems? Literally everyone. Duh.
Comments below. I can hear my therapist in the background going, no, don't do that.
God, I've gotten so many new therapists since then.
Hashtag normalized therapy. Okay, sit, stay, Ginny Weasley ordered, her wand trained on the wizard in front of her, the devious grin on her face. I'm not a dog, Sirius glared at her. When she snorted, he conceded, right now. I'm not a dog, right now. And I've already said, I'll be good and sit tight until everyone gets here.
That's one of my favorite. I'm not a dog right now.
Staring out the window, which they should have done by now. There's a port key, Molly yelled, ignoring him as she flew out the door. Sirius moved to stand, but Ginny shook her head and leveled her wand. No, Sirius. Promised. If something's gone wrong, we need to figure out what happened and tend to anyone who might have been hurt. Harry won't be able to focus if he sees you right off. Her tone eerily reminded him of Lily, and Sirius was almost forced into submission by the memory of her. Fine, he allowed, grumbling under his breath. Go and help your mom. Ginny eyed him suspiciously for a moment, then nodded and ran out the door. The second she was gone, Sirius shifted into Padfoot, swiftly slipping out that open door and into the shadows of the bushes that surrounded the burrow.
Ah, too much blue.
The moment Padfoot's gaze fell on Harry arriving, his chest pained. He whimpered, his paws begging him to move forward, but he knew better. It had been his recklessness that had gotten him killed the last time, and he knew that not only would he hurt Harry if he did something like that again, but his impatience would demonstrate a lack of gratitude he needed to show Hermione for everything she had done for him. So he waited, watched, and listened. The Death Eaters were waiting for us, Harry told Molly. We were surrounded the moment we took off. They knew it was tonight. I don't know what happened to anyone else. 4 of them chased us. It was all we could do to get away, and then Voldemort caught up with us. Padfoot growled at the mention of Voldemort, his large body shaking as he stared at his godson, the mirror image of James. Knowing that the wizard who had killed his best friend had attacked Harry this very night had his blood boiling with rage. In the distance, another blue light flashed. As the group turned to await their friends, Padfoot caught the scent of blood, and his eyes widened as Remus came running towards the house, carrying with him the wounded body of George Weasley. But what happened to George?
He died.
No!
Just the confidence with which she goes, he died. No!
Not yet. That doesn't happen till the Battle of Hogwarts.
Oh, is this the one where he has his ear splinched or whatever? Or is that just in the movie?
No, his ears cut off by Snape. Didn't I?
Yeah.
Padfoot stayed put, still on the edge of
I'm impressed how many times you remember the word splinched.
but remembering everyone's precautions. Wait for everyone to get back, then go to Harry. Everyone made their way into the house, and Padfoot winced, knowing that soon Ginny and Molly would notice his absence. He listened quietly from outside as Molly tended to her son's wound. It was not life-threatening from the sound of it, but he felt a modicum of grief for the boy, a fellow marauder, who, from the sound of things, would certainly no longer look like his identical twin. What creature sat in the corner the first time Harry Potter visited my office at Hogwarts? Padfoot overheard Remus ask. Answer me! A Grindylow in a tank, wasn't it? Harry nervously replied. What was that about? Hagrid roared. I'm sorry, Harry, but I had to check, Remus said tersely. We've been betrayed. You might have been an imposter. Outside, Padfoot looked back to the field by the burrow, waiting for anyone else to arrive, his eyes scanning the area quickly, his ears perked up, alert for any threats. Remus said they had been betrayed. He mentally went through the list of the Order members that he recalled, growling at his memory as his memory fell on Mundungus Fletcher. Remus told him it had been Fletcher's idea to use the polyjuice, but Sirius knew Dung was not smart enough to have come up with something like that. It must have been a trap.
It's so insulting to Dung.
Remus scolding Harry inside the house. He was on edge at volume and tone his best friend was taking with his godson, though he had to admit it was for the boy's own good. Harry, the time for disarming is past. These people are trying to capture and kill you. At least stun if you aren't prepared to kill. We were hundreds of feet up. Stan's not himself, and if I had stunned him, he would have fallen and died the same as if I used the killing curse, Harry insisted. Expelliarm has saved me from Voldemort 2 years ago. Who's Stan?
The man. Obviously, I have no idea.
Stan Shunpike, also known as the conductor for the night bus, who we meet in book 3 and movie 3, when Harry takes the night bus to the Leaky Cauldron after running away from home.
Oh, he's the one that's like, why'd you fall down for? He's like, I didn't do it on purpose.
Exactly.
Did you hear that? The Leaky Cauldron's in London.
Who's that? He's serious?
He's a murderer.
Okay, you need to work on your voices.
Yeah, rude.
Okay, I am an executive assistant. This is a side gig.
The irony of
Say,
that
like,
statement.
Robin Williams and do the voices.
You keep doing that shit. If Dobby ever comes up, his voice is gonna be like, oh boy, Harry Potter,
You sound like Mickey Mouse.
let's go on an adventure. Wow, we're really getting off track. Oh my god, there's so much to put into this episode.
Hey, just make it a two-parter or a bonus thing or something. I don't
Oh,
care.
God.
Give the people what they want.
Give the people what
Hey, people only listen to this because I'm hilarious. I was kidding. I love you. I love you too.
Okay, yeah, so we have to.
I'm okay.
Oh god. Harry's
I'm
not
okay.
back yet. Oh wait, no, he is back. He just had serious hair.
I don't even remember what you said.
Okay, Remus is talking to Harry, and Harry said that he didn't want to stun Stan because if he stunned Stan, Stan would have fallen down. And Stan would have
By the
died.
way, we clearly cut out a lot because I would have been able to remember that much, but after the
Yes, Harry. Remus
we cut
did
out
see
more
the
than
painful
you would
shit,
think.
and a great number of Death Eaters witnessed that happening. Forgive me, but it was a very unusual move then, under the imminent threat of death. Repeating it tonight in front of Death Eaters who either witnessed it or heard about it, the first occasion, was close to suicidal. Another blue light emanated from the field, and Padfoot caught the scent instantly, every bit of his soul urging him forward. Staying put was painful as the scent overpowered him. He struggled to fight the instinct to dash forward, and only the sight of Harry and Remus rushing out the door to meet Kingsley and Hermione finally stopped him. He watched closely as Harry enveloped Hermione in his arms. As though she knew exactly where he was, he felt her gaze immediately upon him. She looked exhausted, but grateful to be alive. Padfoot stood, moving uncertainly on all fours until she shook her head at him from over Harry's shoulder, silently requesting that he stop. He whimpered, physically aching from not being able to go to them both, but obeyed her, this time, and retreated into the shadows. Where's George? Where's George? He lost an ear, Remus said. Lost an ear? Hermione repeated in a high voice. Wait, lost an ear? Hermione repeated in a high voice. Snape's work. Snape! Harry shouted. You didn't say. Severus lost his hood during the chase. Sectum Sempra was always a speciality of his. I wish I could say I'd paid him back in kind, but it was all I could do to keep George on the broom after he was injured. He was losing so much blood. Sirius had seen the Sectum Sempra person used before, and the memory caused him to shake with anger. Not only had the filthy Death Eater betrayed and killed Dumbledore, but he was now using his old favorites to attack teenagers. Unable to contain himself any longer, Padfoot growled loudly for the mention of Snape and his betrayal. Did you hear that? Harry spun at the noise, pointing his wand at the shadows where Padfoot remained hidden. Harry, pay attention. We need to wait for Ron and the others. Hermione tried to distract him, but Harry stepped forward, completely undeterred. His wand lit and aimed ahead. Padfoot flinched at the sight, immediately regretting that Remus had insisted that the boy not hesitate to use offensive tactics. Harry! Hermione called after him, brushing in front of her friend. Move, Hermione! Someone's over there. Harry! Kingsley bellowed. The Order members who had arrived made to follow the boy, but Padfoot watched as Hermione shook her head. She turned to Remus, who seemed to understand right away, his attention drawn to Padfoot's hiding spot. Everyone inside, then, Molly ordered, and one by one they all moved into the house, save for Harry, Hermione, and Remus. Hermione put her hands on Harry's chest. Harry, stop! I can explain. Explain what? Harry's green eyes flashed with panic. Hermione, what's going on? Who's back there? Knowing it was inevitable now that he had fucked it all up, Sirius shifted back into his human form and slowly stepped out of the shadows, hands held up in surrender to show his godson that he was unarmed. He gave a very brief, apologetic glance to Hermione, who looked like she was undecided whether she should be sympathetic to his need to see Harry or incredibly angry over his imprudent patience. Sirius smiled. Harry, The look on his godson's face was agonizing, and it broke Sirius's heart to know that his foolhardy actions had left Harry in a grief that he himself understood all too well. He slowly moved forward. Harry shook his head and
Ooh.
stumbled back.
All Too Well would have been a good song to
No!
pair there.
No, Sirius? But Remus placed his hand on Harry's shoulder. It's really him. No! Tears began to gather in Harry's eyes, gleaming an unnatural emerald hue from the flickering light emanating out of the windows of the house. No, Sirius died. I watched him die. You told me, Remus. You told me he was gone. Sirius took one more careful step towards him, but stopped immediately when Harry's warm hand stiffened. Ask me then. Ask me anything to identify myself. It's what the Order does now, yes? Harry quickly used his free hand to wipe his cheeks, his voice trembling as he asked, what were the first words you ever said to me? Amused, Sirius said, I assume you mean at the Shrieking Shack, in which case I told you that I thought you would come to help your friend, as your father would have done the same for me. He took a moment, his smile softened. But if you want to get technical, my first words to you were, Merlin, look at this head of hair. Harry lowered his wand. Sirius? It's really me, son. Sirius pulled Harry into a tight hug the moment the boy rushed
No!
patting his back.
No! Oh, God.
He listened as Hermione sniffled.
This is fine.
Her to be tended to by Remus. This is your chance to react to the reunion.
What reunion?
Between Harry and
What reunion? God damn.
Oh, you deadpanned that one. I was like, what the fuck do you mean?
God, she was the worst. She was so mean to me.
Yeah, I don't really have any one.
Wow. Super emotional part of the story, and you're just like, whatever. I have no heart. Whatever.
Hey, it's not my fault. I'll explain that to you later because nobody needs to see this. Hear this. Hear this.
You sold your soul to the devil. Got it.
No, I did not. It's actually not my fault.
You did well.
I don't even remember what the reality was for that.
Hermione said kindly.
I think it was maybe that she had seen the Dark Wizard again or something, and she was just kind of tapped out emotionally. I don't remember.
Worried that if he let go, Sirius would disappear. How is this possible? Sirius grinned and gestured over Harry's shoulder to where Hermione stood, quietly taking in the scene in front of her. You've got a very clever witch on your side, son. Hermione? Harry spun around and looked at her. You brought him back? How? You said that.
Always the tone of
I couldn't
surprise.
bring back Dumbledore, but I kept researching and I found a spell. She smiled, leaving out every single detail of exactly how she'd gone about pulling Sirius from the veil. Without words, Harry reluctantly let go of Sirius and moved to Hermione, pulling her into a warm hug and burying his face in her shoulder.
I'm Hermione and I like warm
She
hugs.
closed her eyes and clung to her friend, hushing his incoherent mumbles of gratitude. You've done too much already, Harry. Had too much taken away. I saw a chance and I had to take it. To give something back to you, especially with what we need to do next. I'm sorry, what do we need to do next? Sirius questioned, interrupting him. Harry drew away from Hermione, swiping at his eyes before turning his attention back to Sirius with a resolute smile. We win this war.
Dun dun dun.
That's intense.
Yeah.
That's intense.
So, any predictions for the following chapter?
There's gonna be a war.
Oh my god, it's almost like we already knew that was coming.
Every once in a while, I can hear the different characters from TV shows I've embodied. That was the oh my god was Chancellor Bing.
Anyway, what do you think?
I like it. stayed up until like whatever hour you were reading this.
4-ish, maybe 5.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Firewhisky and Honey.
And a special thank you to Shaylani for allowing us to read your
Oh,
story.
I almost made it through this one without
Blue
crying.
Ivy Creations for creating our living.
Find us on Instagram at
I don't know.
Firewhisky and Honey
But
Podcast.
let's
You'll be
see.
listening.
Alright, that is amazing.
And on Twitter, FWH Podcast.
If you enjoy this podcast and would like to support
Oh
our content,
no.
please support us on Patreon.
Oh no,
If
Carly.
you support us already, we'd
Oh,
like to
that's.
share with
Oh,
A
honey.
special thank you to our production supporters.
And also, please appreciate that you guys said, "Oh yeah, you make it look effortless," and then I dropped the brush.
you. Or did you
But
just say
Fox.
Oh my God. Jesus. Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna do something called glazing. I'm gonna just put
Supporters,
water over this just because I don't want a hard line. So if I get the entire thing wet, it'll all line evenly, and then you won't be able to tell where I did the fix.
Laura Rivers,
Um,
Carissa Horton.
And yeah, if you guys follow Alex Kincaid on Facebook, she's got the garden studio. That is where I learned how to paint.
And Gracie.
Oh, that's what it is.
But
Mabel, look at those feet on the table, and then good night, Gracie. God damn it, I cursed him.
oh, Deadbeat Dead Dad's Club. God bless. I will say though, the one good thing about my niece's dad, who frankly I've put in the Deadbeat Dad Club for a while, he actually not only is not in the Deadbeat Dad Club anymore, like he's become something of a like the unexpected hero this season, like offering to, you know, submit a statement saying that my sister's, you know, a great mom, incredible at co-parenting, you know, like anybody who doesn't want to co-parent with her is clearly the problem because she's great.
She glanced suspiciously at Sirius.
Ooh, that just turned in the middle of an episode. Echo off. But yeah, no, it's been really hilarious watching this guy who, you know, for the longest time we were all like, boo, and now it's, yeah, he's not bad. Like, he's still not great. Like, the way the divorce was handled and all that stuff is still garbage. But to put it as simply as I can, my mother has been introduced to Little Sleepies, which if you have not heard of Little Sleepies, I apologize in advance. It's a bamboo pajama company, and their stuff is really popular. It sells out really quick. When they released their Halloween ones last year, my mom got a set for James, and because it was Nightmare Before Christmas, which is one of James's favorite movies. She got a set, obviously, for my niece and nephew. She also got a set for Maggie's brother and sister with her dad. So, like, that's how improved the relationship is now with my parents and my former brother-in-law, is that my mother bought them, they're like $38 a pair. So she dropped like $80 on pajamas for my niece's half siblings, and it just cracks me up. But anyway, it's very weird to think of her as the eldest of 4, not 2, but she is. And, you know, she loves her siblings on both sides, and they all adore her, obviously, because she's great. But yeah, it's very weird to think about the fact that when we started the podcast, she would have been 8, I think. She was born 2011. She was 7, actually, when we started. Turned 8 shortly thereafter, and now she is 14, almost, which I am unwell about. I am not a fan I'm very upset. But anyway, if you guys like my watercolor stuff, I am trying to do more of it on TikTok and Instagram, Clairvoyant Designs. Yes, 9 3/4. Okay, yeah. So the fix effortless, that is because luckily these two were still a little wet and I went in with a dry paper towel. Certain paint. Oh my, well, Carly, you're a baby. Why were you listening to us at 16? That was inappropriate. Oh my God, I'm old. Because I am 34 right now, which is insane and horrifying, and I don't like it. But yeah, so she's gonna be 14, which means we're a year away from her driving, which is horrifying. But oh, you, all right, Carly, are you in the U.S.? Mainly because I'm like, oh, now you can drink. But if you're in Europe, you've probably been able to drink for a while. But yeah, no, I've got some stuff on. Girl, I can't say anything. I was reading. No, actually, I think I was still playing with like Barbies at 13. So yeah, no, I didn't discover romance novels until senior year of high school. But hey, Maryland! Oh, I have fond memories of Maryland. My now husband, we've been married for 7 years now, which is bananas because we just had the white fluffy wedding. We'd technically been married for a year at that point. But yeah, we just hit 7 years of marriage. But when we were dating, he'd gone up to New Jersey to see his family. And when he was coming back, he gave me a dropped pin on Google and he said, meet me here at this time. And I'm like, what are we doing? Are you gonna kill me? No, I'm kidding. But it was, of course, I figured it out pretty quick because it was the parking garage for the National Aquarium. But yeah, he took me there and it was lovely. Funnily enough, I never actually ate crabs in Maryland though, which I feel like is failing on my part. But I do miss the seafood on the coast. I don't trust 90% of seafood in Tennessee because, well, landlocked state. So, and also I just got spoiled growing up in Key West, where if you guys ever go there, there is a shack, literally a shack. It's in a parking lot. It's called B.O.'s Fish Wagon, and sometimes they'll put up a sign that says "Gone fishing, be back soon." And yeah, it's because they were literally out fishing because they ran out of fish. And yes, I was in Virginia. I was in Fairfax. I was going to George Mason University. I met my husband in Alexandria, I think. We met at a bar. It's no longer there, sadly, but we actually met a bunch of our friends there. And funnily enough, Jimmy's friends from the bar met his friend from the army, who he eventually became roommates with. And I was like, I think John and Molly would be like really cute together. And he's like, no, nope, don't even think about it. Don't you dare. No. They are now married with a little girl. And she was actually pregnant at the same time I was. Helen was born maybe like 20 days before James, because her birthday is May 16th. Helen was diagnosed with Down syndrome at birth. They were not. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Yes. So Jimmy and I were going on a Santa pub crawl, and I got dressed up and I was wearing my jeans. And there had been an ice storm, and he was like, "Hey, I'm driving. Do not drive. There's like, I shit you not, a 50-car pile up on the Beltway." He was like, "I know how to drive on ice. You don't, Florida. Go outside, see if there's any ice. If there is, I'll, bring salt, put it down. It's, ideally you need it down before, but it'll help." And I stepped out onto my porch and I was like, "Oh, there's no ice." Dumbass. I had never had an ice storm before. I had never lived in a place where it snowed before, and did not step off of the covered porch onto the stairs. So Jimmy pulls up. I go to walk down. I put my first foot on that step and I go bloop, bloop, and I grab myself on the rails and I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. Take another step. Feet fly out from under me. I land on my ass in dog shit. Which I did not recognize at first. I had to grab something out of my car and I lean over to like grab something out of the passenger side because I'm opening the driver's side. And Jimmy goes, "Do you like sit on a hard-boiled egg or something? What is that?" And he has his little ice scraper and he flicks it and he goes, "Oh, that's poop. That's a little discus of poop, a little poop frisbee." And I'm like, "No, it's not." And he's like, "That is absolutely poop." And so, of course, I glanced over. I had, in fact, landed in poop. I don't know which neighbor let their dog shit in the middle of a sidewalk, but fuck them. So I run inside to go get changed. I had to put on the only other clean pair of jeans I had that did not fix. I just lost a bunch of weight. So they looked like fucking hammer pants on me. He made fun of me for that for the rest of time. And since then, to this day, on occasion, I get called Turd Ferguson because of that fucking... It makes for a good story. But fucking asshole. Anywho, but yes, no, that was on our way to a Santa-themed pub crawl. One of our friends came dressed as Buddy the Elf, which was phenomenal. He is, ironically, he was also on a date with the woman that he ended up marrying. It's funny, there was a group of people who hung out and 3 of them met their spouses inside of like a month. And we all just started kind of hanging out, and we all have kids now. We all had kids around the same age, all got married around the same time. It's just really funny. But ironically, the dude who dressed up as Buddy the Elf, Jeff, was actually a rocket scientist. And something about what he did was like featured in Science magazine, all this kind of shit. And his now wife, then girlfriend, was a Peace Corps person who'd spent years in Mali, Mali, in Africa. And so they were going to do this thing where they were going to move into a tiny house, and then she was going to try and become a foreign service agent for this, or a State Department foreign affairs agent. I don't know, whatever. She's going to work for the State Department and try and work in an embassy. Well, she was going to take a year off from the Peace Corps. He was going to take a year off from his job, and they just traveled the world. And they literally they went around the entire Earth. They hit all 7 continents. Yes, all 7. They started in Africa, and while they were there, he picked up some gemstones. And then while they were in India, I think, or Indonesia, one of those 2, he had the stones set. And then he proposed while they were in Antarctica. So, yeah, no, it was bananas. They're like one of my favorite love stories, just because it's like, wow, y'all really just like found each other. And you should have found each other because you 2 are the same energy. And now he is essentially a stay-at-home dad because, well, every place they live, he can't really get a job. But no, it was, and they were really good about like posting pictures about, their travels and, meeting up with people that she'd worked with in Mali, and just, it was awesome. And, I think they got really sick at one point in Asia, but they did this whole thing, I think, before COVID started. I want to say because they got married, I think, in like May of 2020. Yeah, I want to say because they were traveling for our wedding, which is why we didn't bother inviting them, because they would not have gotten the invite. But yeah, no, just really cool couple. So, and then the other couple had their little girl, like I said, Helen, who was diagnosed with Downs at birth, and she is such a little badass. She is just amazing. And it was funny because James finally got to meet her in person, and Jimmy was, a little worried just because, James had never, interacted with somebody with Down syndrome before. And he's like, I don't know how, like, is he going to ask weird questions? And, like, is he going to know, how, like, is he going to be okay with how Helen acts? And I was like, and when James met her, he was just like, Hi, Helen. And, grabbed her hand and they played together. And I will say she fucking walloped at one point and he was pretty upset. But it was, that's part of how she communicates. When she is done with something, she will just grab your hair and pull. And so, trying to, navigate that. And, James was a little confused because he knew they were the same age, but he never once said anything about her appearance or how she talked or anything like that. And Jimmy was like, I was really impressed. And I'm like, well, think about it. We get videos of Helen and photos of Helen all the time. He knows what she looks like. He doesn't know that she's different. He's seen Helen since he was a baby. Helen's just Helen. Why would he expect her to look and act like everybody else? He's seen videos of her his entire life. He knows exactly what Helen looks like and acts like. That's just Helen. And they, got along really well. We got to watch Helen, practice swimming, and James practiced swimming, and they did bowling together. And, they're toddlers. They had their ups and downs, but like James had so much fun and was so disappointed to leave and asks about Helen all the time. And, we'll talk about how pretty her outfit is or how pretty her eyes are. And it's just wonderful. And it makes me so happy. And like, of all the people to have Helen and be Helen's mom, Molly was just, whoever did the designations prior to birth knew what they were doing, because when you listen to Molly's voice in the background of videos with Helen, she'll say, okay, now Helen, can you say hello? Can you say hi to James? All right, now we're going to say happy birthday. That's great, Helen. Now, Helen, can you show them the shirt they bought you? Helen, do you like this shirt? What do you want to tell them? And she's just got this like ultimate mom, like teacher voice in the background that is so calming. And sure enough, she was an elementary school teacher prior to becoming a mom. And it makes me so happy because, you want your kids to have exposure to so many diverse things, and you want them to, never think something's weird or, be embarrassing. And well, the best way to keep from them being embarrassing around things that you are worried they will think is weird is by making sure those things aren't weird and are something they're exposed to early on. And so, yeah, I just am constantly grateful for Molly and Helen and John and how wonderful they are. And actually, John was out here for training recently, so we got to see him, and James had a blast and was pretty upset that Helen and Aunt Molly weren't going to be there. But yeah, no, it's crazy to me that, I got invited to learn how to line dance, which later found out the invite was for two-stepping on what I thought was a date. It was not. He brought his own date. Whoops. Awkward. Third wheeling at a couples dance class with a girl who did not know I was coming and I did not know she was coming. And then at the end of it, they were like, you want a drink? And I'm like, abso-fucking-lutely, get a beer. And they both get Shirley Temples, suck them down, and ditch me at a bar that I've never been at before. And I now can't leave because there's a $10 minimum for credit cards. And oh, my beer is $5. And so I just kind of sat there awkwardly at the bar for a bit. And there was a guy I'd seen walk in earlier who was super good looking. But he also walked up to these two girls who were fucking Amazons. And like, I'm talking legs up to here. And like, one has gorgeous strawberry blonde curls. And the other one has like this super dark, cute, short haircut. And they're both like 5'11" and like this big, and they can dance, and they've got cute boots on, and I did not feel cute. But I walked over to this guy anyway, and I introduced myself, and that was my husband. And the two girls that he was hugging, the one with the red curls was Molly. The one with the dark hair was Bridget, her sister, who is lovely, and I will never understand to this day how that girl is single because, whew, she's the full package. Like, brilliant. She's a teacher. She handles, I think she teaches, first grade. So, like, she can put up with some shit. I don't know why. I just, like, I don't cuss all the time on the podcast. You can tell I'm a mom now, with a kid who speaks. But anyway, she also does like kickboxing and she dances and she's fun and she's like constantly going out and doing stuff. And I will never understand how she is single. But anyway, um, I'll bring her on the show at some point. If any of you guys have single men in the Virginia area, you let me know. Bring them. We'll be like a dating show. But they actually moved to the Williamsburg area because that's where John got stationed. And when I say they moved, I mean obviously Molly and John moved. So did her sister and their parents, who by the way are great and like not helicopter parents. They're just like genuinely lovely people. The kind of, in-laws that you hope to get, and if you do not have them, you hope your children get. Just like so wonderful, so lovely, and it's just, yeah, now the entire family's great. Anyway, I don't know how I got on this random tangent about how great all my friends are, but probably to think about the fact that even though somebody ditched me, I am not all alone. And sorry, that was probably really loud for you guys listening with headphones. I'm sorry. But no, I've been struggling a bit, and that's why I did the live today. Just how many fucking times have I just had the thought of like, oh, I can't. Oh, I can't. It just fucking blows. Yeah. And just found out that her parents had originally said they were going to do a celebration of life in the fall. They have said that they're not ready to do a celebration of life, which I completely understand, but at the same time, they're not ready to say goodbye, so nobody gets to say goodbye. And I just got really angry and frustrated because it's like I've been waiting on tenterhooks to go, grab a bag, fly to Key West, and now they're saying that's not going to happen anytime soon, if ever. And I'm like, well, and apparently they said they were okay with us being me, Kenny, Audrey, Hannah, throwing something. And I'm like, well, we're all fucking broke, so like we can't afford to do a whole heck of a lot, but maybe we should. So I think maybe probably after the holiday season dies down, because right now tickets are going to be insane. So probably in like February timeframe, we'll do something in Key West. And because I am throwing it, well, Kenny and I are throwing it. We're going to try and do it where it's like, we may try and use like his family's church, which is great, and Kat really liked. But if we don't do that, then maybe that is not the color I wanted for this, but whatever. I'm tired. So we'll just go with this. I'll add some blue later. But yeah, we, because we're the ones hosting, the chances of any of you being able to make it for this thing is probably quite low, but it did occur to me that we could also stream it, and have that be a thing, and have somebody, running the computer with you guys so you can see what's going on and be a part of it, because I know she would have liked that. So anyway, and that being said, the money that was sent to emergency fly us to Key West is still being held for that, but it's also being used to keep the podcast alive in the meantime, because the amount of money we had for Patreon and all that kind of stuff has really sort of died down, understandably. But yeah, so we will be using that money to keep the pot alive, to sort of fund the memorial, And yeah, well, it's been interesting watching some of the friends from back home, start to get more involved on the podcast page and just see the legacy she left. And I've kind of enjoyed that, watching people who are like, holy shit, like, y'all did this. Yeah, we did. Like, it's a thing. We created this. I'm just mixing all the fucking colors in right now. Don't mind me. I was going to make this like a really colorful thing, and then I was like, nah, we'll do it like moderately realistic, and now I'm just like, whatever. We'll go with this color. Is this a color that succulents usually are? No idea. We'll find out. It doesn't matter. It's art. It's playing. It's the whole point of this page is to practice blending colors. I have an entire journal right now dedicated to watercolor lessons from the Garden Studio, which is the place that I have learned to color from, but most of these are lessons from her that I've either already taken or I will take, but this one I've already taken, so I'm just kind of playing with it and trying to blend the colors and get that gradient look. So anyway, with that, I'm gonna hop off, but I'm glad to see you guys here. Those of you who joined, those of you who commented, thank you. I love seeing all of your messages. It's good to see you, Sarah, Carly, all of you. Gotta scroll back to see Ashley. Thank you guys, and yeah, I'll see you next time I'm on. Bye.